would like to open public comment, and Dan asked to speak first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bear with me, people. I'd like to address an issue that I believe is a serious concern for the town of Londonderry. When I was approached by people in town to run for town council, I heard many of you tell me that I could work with anyone and that I cared for the town of Londonderry and would do what I believe is best for the community. Londonderry is an amazing community to live in and to raise your family. I love it when I see people that I have seen grow up in town, and now they work for this great community. I have heard how great the community is from past selectmen and councilors. What we don't need is a community that is divided, but a community that is united together for what is best for Londonderry. I have seen many public officials come and go in the past 46 years that I've lived in Londonderry. I recall, and some of you might know these gentlemen, Bob Early, Norm Russell, Bob Day, Bob Lincoln, Harry and Agnes, just to name a few that served this community. Not everyone agreed with everything. They had many disagreements and still found it more important in their disagreements to unite a community than divide it. Now these gentlemen were not around when we had this online activity that we now have. Councilor Paul served this community as a councilor for 3 years when she was elected in 2020. Back then, I, as well as other people in the community, witnessed the attacks on her and the attempts to have her removed from the council. The only thing that I observed was a division among the board members and the community. It cost the taxpayers a lot of money on legal fees, drove a wedge in the community. In March of this year, she was elected again. As I have heard prior councilors state, the people voted and they decided. Well, in this case, the people again voted, knowing she is a business owner and owns a local newspaper that goes to every home in this community. We again have a resident, a prior town councilor, that has filed complaints against Councilor Paul. I have reviewed these complaints, and I would ask Mr. Farrell to trust the 4 councilors that were elected by the people to speak to each other and handle these concerns, to handle any concern people may have first before spending money on attorney fees and investigations. The council with our new town manager has so many issues that need to be addressed for the citizens of Londonderry. We hear from people about water, traffic, development, need for services. Let's focus on these issues for the entire community. Whatever happened to the days when someone messed up, you spoke to them and used it as a teaching moment. We are not perfect. We all make mistakes. And people that have sat up on the council prior to the 5 of us have not been perfect. They talked, found solutions that was in the best interest of the town of Londonderry. As the new councilor, I can tell you that if a fellow councilor does something that I don't think is in the best interest of the community, I will speak to them. I think if you ask any of them, they will attest to that. I can also tell you that when I was a president of New Hampshire Dairy Officers Association and I suspected someone had broken the law, I acted on it. Even though she was a fellow police officer and she didn't agree with my findings, I did what I believed was right, and I went to the Attorney General's office. Not a popular decision with some of my fellow officers at the time, but many agreed with me. I don't believe, with all my years of experience, any of these complaints rise to this level. I want to share something with you. I was in church this past Sunday at St. Jude's. Father Bob's sermon really touched home, talked about this stuff that we're going through right now. He stated that sometimes when we firmly believe that we are right, we sometimes do stupid things. He spoke about sometimes we believe in something so much that we result in name calling and things get to a point where people don't talk to each other. He said he started thinking about how we get so entrenched in our beliefs that we believe that we are absolutely, positively right in a lot of things. And that can lead to some destructive stuff, some destructive behavior on human beings' parts. At what point do we go too far in what we believe? When it comes to a point where we hurt people, it goes too far. At what point do we go too far? Sometimes we get so entrenched in our beliefs, even when people are being harmed, we don't stop and think of the harm that we are causing. We need to point out where we have gone too far and challenge our leaders to say that's a little too far. This was his sermon on Sunday. As one leader in this community, I believe this is going too far. We need to stop these attacks and unite our community moving forward. Let us all work together, making the town of Londonderry the amazing place it is to live. I want to end by asking John Farrell to put your trust in the council. Withdraw your complaints. Please trust the elected officials up here and let us unite this community. Thank you.
Kathy Wagner, and I'm going to drive Dan crazy. 15 Parmenter, 12 McGregor Court, 402, and Pillsbury Cemetery.
I miss saying that.
Can I, town manager, or actually chair, are local citizens allowed to put in ethical complaints?
I believe they are.
Okay.
Yes,
I
anybody
believe
can
they
file
are.
an ethics complaint.
And we know because of 91A, any ethical complaint, you guys can't really talk because it's all got to be done out in public.
Correct.
So my question is our council in the room tonight?
Say that again?
Is council in the room, Tom? Okay, because I'm kind of worried that this is going to get into a liability situation if we don't have council in the room.
Yep.
And as a taxpayer, I worry about that. I think that this is unfortunate. I think that it's really, I ask that we don't have a courtroom or a trial here tonight because it's public comment. Is it on the agenda for a trial in this room?
No, it's not.
We're going to be discussing it later on in the agenda, but there's not going to be a trial. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, so we have a defense lawyer here for Ms. Paul, is that correct?
Yep.
That you have hired? Okay, so that's, to me, sounds like maybe we should just follow the policy, which is really simple, like everybody does, follow the process, because it's not, it is a private, independent investigator will determine if this, I don't know what you call it, has merit. And at that point, then you guys can make the decision fairly. This doesn't have merit or it does have merit. So I ask that maybe we rethink what we're doing here and maybe get this as let the investigation go and then deal with it publicly with everybody. Because what I'm afraid of is a lot of stuff is going to be said tonight that could lead to slander, that could lead to arguments, and I don't want to shut anybody down, and I'm sorry, but I'm just voicing a concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
John Farrell, 58 Hovey Road, Londonderry. Dan, I'm in support of what you basically said, and I want to reassure with you, I've been involved with the town since 1977. Chairman of the Cable Committee, worked with Mr. Lincoln with Field Committee, brought internet to the schools. What else? Stopped a 165-foot tower being built in somebody's backyard. And I want to tell you, there are people in this community that do work together, even though we have a difference of opinion.
Yes.
Okay. For example, the lady to the right of me, She supports us. I'm on the Utilities Committee also and the Water Committee. And I don't mind people sending me email about their water at 11 o'clock at night. That's fine. I have no problem with that. This person did 3 jobs just to support us. This person, since 1977, has helped me get messages out on sports, on school activities, and things like that. And right now, a lot of us on these committees are spending, I'm talking about hundreds of hours. I'm on the engineering side of water and things like that. I think Ron knows that.
Yeah.
Kristen does. Yeah. We've got so many things to do and so many things to finish up for you guys, like the master plan, that there are people who work together, and we just need to keep it like that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else with public comment? Nope.
Yeah. My name is Ann Fenn. I'm at 18 Partridge Lane in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And I'm going to agree with the past 2 folks who just spoke. This is a government forum that we're operating in right now. And you all represent all the citizens of Londonderry. And it's not a civil or a criminal court in any way. It's not a government matter, which could potentially come up tonight. I really feel it's not the business of the town to be discussing these issues between a couple of people who, we don't need a Hatfield and McCoy set of circumstances in this town. And I understand there are different viewpoints. Some people feel that all these issues should be discussed in public. I feel after talking to both parties and spending time with both parties that these issues should be discussed with a professional, independent, neutral mediator. I really feel it's a mediation issue. And I hope that can be done, and there doesn't need to be the public family pain or the public town pain. So I'm hoping that you all agree and that these issues are not, it's not a government matter, it's not the people's business, so to speak. So I do hope that we don't get into that situation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening, members of Town Council. My name is Kevin Coyle. I'm a former employee here. I live at 660 Middle Street in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I do represent Deb Paul. And Ms. Paul has hired me to represent her in these particular interests because Mr. Farrell has made some pretty serious, although I think spurious allegations against her, including criminal activity. And I take that pretty seriously, and I appreciate, Councilor Bouchard, what you said. I don't want you to spend money. I think it is a total waste of time. This town has wasted more legal fees on what I would consider foolishness. And I don't want you to be seduced tonight into spending more money because it's wrong. What former Councilor Farrell is doing is wrong. And I appreciate Councilor Bouchard has called him out on it. And I'm not going to go through that again. But you as a council can decide to end this tonight. And I would ask you to do that. And if you don't, if you choose not to, it's going to cost the Londonderry taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars if you hire an outside investigator. And in looking at the allegations, one of which was that she with another individual committed some kind of fraud on the court. That was investigated after it was brought to by Kim Bernard to the Rockingham County Sheriff's. It was dismissed in 10 minutes. The allegations that have been made are spurious at best, and I would ask you to please end it tonight. Do not spend this kind of money. Do not waste this kind of money. The taxpayers deserve better. Thank you.
Now, on to the elephant in the room. I'm Chairman Dunn. I'd like to ask when when Councilor Bouchard was speaking he speaking as a resident or was he speaking as a town councilor?
I believe he was speaking as a resident, but I don't want to speak for him. But I believe he was speaking as a resident.
I don't know that was stated, but I think, as I said at the last meeting, when we're elected officials, we're all held to a much higher standard, 24 hours a day. We don't get to pick and choose. My concern with the passionate, presentation of Councilor Bouchard is that, okay, so I represent the residents of this town, every one of them. And many concerns have been brought forth to every council in the past, and they're addressed. Some, I'm sure, erroneous that really maybe shouldn't have been, but out of respect for each and every citizen, we don't broadcast their name and we look into it, or you, thank goodness, have that task of looking into it. My concern representing all of the residents is going forward, why would anyone want to bring an honest concern that they believe is honest forward to all of you? Because a name was brought forward. Attorneys are in the room. I feel that is intimidation. Why would I dare say anything? And I would dare say something because I am the elected town clerk. But why would anyone else dare bring a concern? Because now you've set a precedent. John Farrell, loud and clear. John Farrell, loud and clear. John Farrell, loud and clear. So what about the next Molly May that has a legitimate concern? You might not think it's legitimate, but they sure do. Your job, what you were elected for, is to represent everyone. And I don't believe you get to sit up there and speak as a resident. And if you are going to do that, you need to make it very clear to everyone in the room. Because I don't know as a counselor if that should be considered something that you do. If you're speaking for yourself as a counselor, then I think that's a little different. But again, someone's name, and it's not because it's my name, and it is, and I'm proud of that, but that...
Hi.
Take it outside. If you want to talk, take it outside. Don't do it here. Come on.
Guys, please.
But I'm glad it stirred some emotion because that it concerns me. Anyone should be able to bring anything to you, as frivolous as you may think it is, and know that their privacy, and of course you can write to know, you can ask, we all know this, our First Amendment rights, of course, but people have to know that they have a safe haven in all of you to bring issues forward. And then, as a few of the speakers said, it's your job to determine whether or not it's correct or incorrect, and then we move forward. But again, intimidation. I mean, why would anyone just have that freedom now to bring something forth? And I hope I'm wrong on that. And I hope you address that because that's worrisome. And I didn't expect any of this. So anyway, back to dogs, please keep that in mind. And remember that, we're all here with kindness and love for this community in our hearts. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Yes, John Farrell, 4 Hancock Drive. So a month ago, I submitted a complaint. I've heard nothing in the last month. There's a process. You submit the complaint in sealed envelopes. It's done very discreetly. The sealed envelopes went to the town manager, to you, Mr. Dunn, to you, Mr. Faber, and handled extremely discreetly. Obviously, it wasn't handled discreetly after that, huh? Because we're standing here tonight. I brought legitimate concerns. I put my trust in you doing it discreetly. And somebody sent them out to the public. Wasn't me. So you sit up here and you say, we need to work together. Trust us to do this. I did. This is what you did. I'll agree with my wife. This is definitely a form of intimidation. So I'm going to be persecuted here in the room because I brought a legitimate concern forward, regardless of what Attorney Coyle thinks. Doesn't matter to me what he thinks. Why is he even here? Why wasn't I given the opportunity to have legal representation? Why wasn't I told about any of this? I was told nothing. Whatever version of the truth went out to people who were in here tonight. But I wasn't told anything. You didn't communicate with me at all. So yes, why would any resident bring anything up ever again if this is the way you're going to treat them? Why? Sad. I handled this discreetly. I handled it confidentially. You didn't. That's wrong.
I have all the faith I can in most of you councils up there because I've gotten to know you a little bit personally. And I like what you said, Dan. It's this division and attack and on people has to stop. We got more things to take care of in this town than to worry about what Councilman Paul is doing. And the money that will be spent if this goes to legal. And that's about all I have to say. And I'll meet you at the pub later.
Thank you, Dennis. How are you, sir?
Good. Scott Bristol, 23 Bartley Hill. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I actually agree with John that you shouldn't bring public names up. But I also want to bear out that hasn't started tonight, and they're not the first person. I sit here in one council meeting and listen to John Butler after public comment was closed go on and on and on about public.
Speak up, please.
Go on. Sorry.
Speak in the microphone so we can hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go on and on and on about parents at the time that were trying to defend their kids and call them out one by one after public comment was closed. So I agree. It shouldn't be done. You shouldn't call out public people. It's a sacred right to come here and to be able to address your government and to be called out, even if it's not meant to be intimidated. I know I stopped speaking because of it. The cancel culture in this town is toxic and upsetting. I had my employer called twice during the COVID times to try to get me fired because I dare stand up for our kids. This is ridiculous and it should not happen. You have a right, regardless, I don't even know the details of what's going on here other than the chronic battle between John and Deb, right? I have no idea, but to find out about this and to have all this going on, it needs to stop. It's disgusting, and it's our right to come here and talk, and the intimidation factor in this town is ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment?
I do.
Okay.
Andy Greco, 45 White Plains Avenue. I don't know what the ethics charges or complaint that was filed is all about. I'd like to find out. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm here. But I am concerned that if this was supposed to be a confidential document, I am concerned that somebody released it to other people. So I would like to ask each and every one of you, did you release this document to the public?
We won't answer that right now.
Well, that's not fair.
We're going to discuss that later on in the...
But that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because you have an unfair audience here, and Mr. Farrell doesn't have counsel. Ms. Paul does. And I think it's unfair the way it's been handled by you folks. Okay. Somebody leaked the information. And that's not fair. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment?
Martha Smith, 38 Shasta Drive. If these complaints were filed, they were supposed to be private. I don't know enough about how things get done. But if they were filed, and they were filed naming Councilor Paul, then I believe that she has a right to go to an attorney and get some advice. They are somewhat serious. A lot of the, I don't know what it's all about, but it seems like, unfortunately, this has been a battle that has festered for a very, very long time. Mr. Farrell has certain ideas of how the town should be run and how he wanted things to go, and that was all well and good. That was his ideas, and I have no complaint about that. I think maybe Councilor Paul has some different ideas of how the town should grow, expand, whatever it is, but they have a difference of opinion, in my opinion, that's become a personal vendetta. And it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by this for the town of Londonderry. And I told both of them today I was praying for them, and I want them to settle this. I think that what Dan said, whether he said it as a citizen, whether he said it as a counselor, I don't care. He said it, and everything that he said was important to be said. It has to be settled, and people should be able to, in a town like Londonderry, even though I know we're growing and we're a big town, we should be able to sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody and talk out our differences. And I'm very upset by this. And I hope it ends tonight, too. I think it should end tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening. Debbie DeRochers, 25 Rolling. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I just would like to make one comment. If this exact situation had been in reverse, John Farrell sitting up there, Deb Paul sitting back there, and she did the exact same thing, this whole crowd here, on this side, I guess, would be saying the exact same thing that we're saying. Transparency, transparency, transparency. That's her number one word. Where is the transparency now? I find it totally insulting. Somebody on this board put it out to people. I heard it as a clerk in the office from customers at my window today. At my window. Somebody told what was going on behind the doors. You're saying trust people? I don't trust. Because it's not happening. It's not happening. So they're totally right. Who's going to come up here and say anything negative? It's not going to happen. No one should have been named, whether it was me or anyone else. And if it was reversed, yes, we're all sick of it. We have been sick of this feud with her and all the people. There's hundreds of people. We're sick of it. But when it was going on for years and years and years, John's been on the council for years, it's been going on forever. But now all of a sudden it's turned around and it's the end of the world. We got to stop. We can't do this. She's the poor soul. We got to stop this. It's wrong. And somebody leaked it out.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
I'm Marcia Nadler, 5 Hancock Drive. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but my husband and I are new residents of Londonderry. We've been here under 2 years. And I have to say that watching what's going on tonight is very disheartening. We love being here. in Londonderry. We're from California, and we love everything about Londonderry. But being in this room and feeling the energy in this room is, it feels so toxic in here. I want to believe that if I have a complaint to make, that you're the group to bring the complaint to. But I don't feel that way right now. To know that a complaint was brought to you and it wasn't held in, I don't want to use the word secrecy, but it wasn't held in yes, is very upsetting to us, to my husband and I, because it definitely should be. We should be able to, as citizens, bring something to you and know that you're the group that's going to take what we have to say seriously and take care of us as your citizens. And I want to know that that's what's going to happen. I didn't even know if I was going to come up here because I thought, am I now going to have am I going to be blacklisted? You're going to know my name and where I live, and I'm not going to, feel safe in my community. But I want to know that you're here for us as citizens, and that's what you should be here for. That's what my council was for in California, and that's what you should be here for here in Londonderry. So I hope that's what your role is for.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Tonight, we will start by addressing an agenda item regarding recent formal complaints submitted to the town regarding potential violations of the Code of Ethics and the town charter. The purpose of this item is to acknowledge the complaints, outline the path for handling them appropriately, and take formal action on the next steps to ensure accountability and transparency. Summary of the complaints. This council received 3 complaints. They are as follows. On April 30th of 2025, we received a complaint alleging violations of the town council's Code of Ethics and multiple sections of the town charter during a Recreation Commission meeting. The second complaint was on May 1st of 2025, alleging additional violations of the Code of Ethics and the town charter not tied to a specific meeting, but pertaining to recent conduct. On May 8th, this council received another complaint alleging the code of conduct and charter violations that occurred during the May 5th Town Council meeting. I will accept a motion to formally acknowledge and accept into the record the complaints dated April 30th, May 1st, and May 8th relating to the alleged violations of the Code of Conduct and Town Charter.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. I will now accept a motion to suspend action on the complaint that has been referred to by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Department pending completion of the Rockingham County Sheriff's investigation.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Now we as a council need to discuss how we would like to.
Mr. Chairman, just to
Oh,
be
sorry.
clear,
Please.
it's important to record who voted on what, because I think it's unclear right now.
Oh, sure.
So if you just clarify those 2 votes, who voted in the affirmative?
Sure.
Who abstained, or who voted in the negative?
Do a roll call vote?
You don't have to do a roll call
Okay.
vote, just make it clear for the record who voted
Okay.
how.
On motion number 1, which was to formally acknowledge and accept into the record the complaint dated April 30th, May 1st, and May 8th regarding the alleged violation of the town charter. All those that said aye? Aye. Any opposed? All 5 voted yes. On the second motion to suspend the action by the sheriff's complaint, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I am not sure if I should be recusing myself, if I should vote for myself, vote again. I don't know what the legal advice should be here.
You should be recusing yourself because it's a matter
Okay,
that
then I
pertains to
recuse
you.
myself. Thank you. Hence why I wanted my attorney.
Okay. Good. So then, going back to the first motion,
It's a
so
abstention.
4-0, 1 abstention.
So abstention is a different thing. So recusal is different than abstention.
Okay.
So the proper course of action is for you to actually leave the table and to come out here and allow them to act on the matter. I know you haven't done this before, and hopefully you won't have to do it again.
Thank you.
All right. So to answer your question, then 4-0 recusal on both motions.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Yep. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I will accept the motion to direct the town manager to engage in an independent third-party investigator to conduct a review of the remaining complaints and report the findings to the town council.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. These motions aim to ensure that all complaints are treated seriously, reviewed thoroughly, and handled without bias. The town council is committed to due process, transparency, and upholding the integrity of our public service. The complaints will be placed on the 91A Right to Know page on the town's website before noon tomorrow.
Hi, Kevin Coyle again, 660 Middle Street, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I just want to, you took a vote earlier, and I didn't get to say it, but I want to make clear the Rockingham County Sheriff's investigation is closed, has been closed for at least a week. And your counsel acknowledged the same to me. So I don't know why she didn't speak up to tell you that, but that investigation is over. So if you're going to be doing an investigation, which again I think is a total waste of time, you should do all three. And I think that it's a waste to hire somebody to do two and not the third, which has been closed by the Sheriff's Department. So, and as far as Ms. Paul, there is a town charter provision that indemnifies her, and we would ask for indemnification for all her fees and costs associated with any investigation. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.